Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Christian. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thanks. Really excited to learn a little bit more about you and a bit more about your business. So, for those viewers that are watching today and it's the first time you've tuned in, the Business Spotlight is about you learning more about Christian and his business, and also to inspire you if you're thinking about getting into business or you're already on that entrepreneurship journey. So, Christian, if you could just kick things off for us by telling our viewers who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
Yeah, no problem. So my name's Christian. I am based in Hertfordshire. My business operates in Hertfordshire, Essex, London, Surrey, Kent, surrounding counties. My business is called Intent, and we specialise in residential property snagging, inventories, checkouts, midterm inspections. So we're basically a property inspection company in the property sector, and we're coming up to 6 years of trading in April.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Well done. Happy birthday,
Thank you.
nearly. So,
Thank you.
so Christian, what would you say makes you stand out from the other people doing what you're doing in this sector?
Um, I had the belief when I set the company up that I wanted to be sort of a young buck, sort of blaze the industry, inject some fire into it because property industry's been around for years, way before I was even born, and it's evolved so much. But at the time, I felt it was sort of very corporate, very suit-like. Everyone has their positions, and it was sort of quite a closed off entry into the industry.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come in and shake things up
Yeah.
and do things differently, come in with a fresh eye and sort of make my mark in the industry. So that was my driving force behind it. Um, and then from there, I wanted to be sort of, I'm all about personally about progression and wanting to sort of upgrade every aspect of my life, whether it's through fitness or for business. And this aspect, it was obviously about the business. So I wanted to sort of take it to the next level consistently. And that meant obviously making more and more, well, I hope more of a dent in the industry in
Yeah.
terms of how we grow, how we operate, and things that we sort of implement. So that's been sort of my tunnel vision for the last 6 years.
Wow, brilliant. That's a great share. Thank you for that. So you mentioned 6 years. So just give us a little sort of whistle stop tour of what that journey's been like, from when you originally started the business and has it
Yeah.
been everything you want it to be and to where you are now?
So prior to that, I had no experience. Well, I had experience running a business from the ages of 19 to 21. It was just a small business. It was just me running it for someone else, and it was doing what I'm doing now without the snagging. Um, but I decided that I wanted to then go up and set up on my own. I didn't really have any idea. I wasn't dealing with, the account side of things or customer service because there was someone in the background that dealt with that. So I kind of started from dead basically and just learn everything I've learned mainly through mistakes.
Yeah.
I'd like to say it was through business courses and stuff, but I have no degree. I've sort of started and learned as I've gone, and every mistake has been a massive learning lesson for me. I've spoken to people, listen to podcasts like this that are really insightful and sort of give you a nudge in the right direction, and you learn from others, which is definitely sort of what I believe in now. I'm not a big reader, but I listen to a lot of podcasts and I watch a lot of stuff, and that's where I gauge a lot of information. Um, and then ran the business for 6 years. I made obviously a lot of mistakes. In the last 2 years, I feel like the business has been reborn. It feels like the business has had three different lives and different stages of growth. The first one was mainly just trying to bring as much money as possible, and I was just, very money driven. Obviously, wanted to build something, but that was really what the aim was. And I'd be lying if I said it was for any other reason. But it was more about the financial side. As I dug deeper and my responsibilities got bigger, I understood it's a bit more than that. And obviously, we're dealing with in my area of business, I'm dealing with people's assets and people's homes. So it's obviously always been very important to me. But I've really then sort of harnessed that, built myself a team at the time, and it was starting about then from scaling gently towards building it into a bit more of a reputable company and something with a bit of traction behind it. It's only recently, I'd say in the last 2 years, where I've sort of hired what I thought was the right people with the right team around me who have just brought the whole company to what it is now.
Yeah. Wow, what a journey. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the future for the business, and what do you think the main challenges are that you're going to have, going forward into 2024 and beyond?
It's all for now. It's about scaling. This year is about building the brand, building the identity of the company, and sort of leaving our mark properly in the industry. Now I've got a team behind me. There's
Yeah,
more hands on deck that I can enforce things, or we can adapt things a lot quicker.
yeah,
I think the biggest pitfall for me is obviously in being the property industry. We're in sort of financial crisis at the moment, as the government said, and obviously properties are the backbone of a lot of that. So it's all dependent on how the market goes.
yeah,
It could collapse. The rental market could go under. The sales market on new build property could, fall apart. I doubt it will, but these are pitfalls that could stop us from going forwards.
yeah,
As well as that, it's more about where the team's bigger now. The company's not just me. Where it's just me, I can manage expectations and sort of the work that's going in and out. Now I'm relying on others, and obviously when you put your trust in the business in other people's hands, you now have to sort of trust that you've got the right team around you that can fulfill what you're trying to push forward. And that is obviously, a whole another ball game in itself, is just maintaining quality standards.
yeah,
And then I'm able to sort of use that and say, here's our business model. This is why we're so good at what we do. And then I can drive the company into growing into something more corporate.
yeah. Brilliant. That's fantastic, Share. Thank you very much for that, Christian. So moving on to yourself then as the business owner, I mean, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned today in all of this that really stands out for you?
I would say it's if you this is really cliche, but if you believe in what you're doing genuinely, and you have to be a little bit crazy to have like a vision and know you're going to try and achieve it, or know you're going to set out to do it.
Yeah,
It's just about being consistent. And there are days, I'm going to admit that, where I thought, what, I should just sell up and go and work for someone. I could go and get a really good job, and I know
yeah,
my skill set, and I'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's, why are you doing this? I've come this far. I'm not going to give up now. I've built something that I'm proud of. I've got
yeah,
to just continue to go through the tough times. And as much as you see all the nice stuff and, whatever car you might drive or your holiday, there's
yeah,
a lot that goes behind that, even just to get on the holiday. I didn't take a holiday. Last year, I took my first holiday for 2 weeks. And from then, it was just small city breaks, 4 or 5 days. And I'd have to structure it around the hours that my clients are working and that sort of stuff. But for the first time since I was 18, so that will be 10 years,
yeah.
that I took 2 weeks off with my partner
Yeah.
and just relaxed, and the company was in other people's hands. So it
Yeah,
took a lot to get even in that position. And other people don't have that problem when they're employed. So
yeah,
yeah, I'd say
absolutely. And
consistency.
yeah,
Sorry, after you.
no, I was going to say absolutely. And I think that's one of the key things, isn't it? The sacrifices that are made by
Yeah,
us business owners to get businesses off the ground. And like you say, 6 years later, it's the first 2 week holiday you've had. And I think those sacrifices um, go unnoticed. And a lot of people don't realize these are just some of the things that you sacrifice growing and building businesses.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Christian. So, we're going to go back in time now, yeah? And we're going to go back in time. We're going to go and see an 18-year-old Christian, yeah? And what I want you to think about is whether it would be an 18-year-old you, or even just someone watching that's sort of like that age, that would just benefit from one small nugget of advice, knowing what you know now, and then being able to give that advice to an 18-year-old you. What would it be?
At that age, I was a negotiator in Westminster in a big corporate letting agent. So I was surrounded by, really high net individuals and amazing property. And I think obviously I learned a lot and it shaped me. But at that age, I felt like my age was um, letting me down, because I just didn't have the number behind me to say I'm 28, I've got experience. I was 18, I was dealing with people that were double my age and
Yeah,
10 times my net worth, and 100 times over that.
yeah,
So I felt hindered by my age, and I felt sort of I wasn't good enough because I was so young.
yeah,
And it doesn't matter what age you are, if you're passionate enough and you care about who you work with, and you give
yeah,
attention to your clients and your customers, whoever you work with.
yeah,
I think that's just probably the most important thing, out of all of that. And also being 18, I think you have an air of arrogance because you think you're indestructible, and you realise that as you get older, that arrogance doesn't actually do much for you. And I'll be the first to admit I probably had a bit too much call it arrogance, confidence, however you want
Yeah.
to pin it, but it doesn't come across as well. And I think the more you understand that how that gets received by others, it definitely helps you get further along rather than sort of having that degree of arrogance around you.
Yeah, no, that's a really great share. And I think I'm nodding and smiling because I totally sort of relate to that and it resonates with me as well. And I think, there's probably not that many 18-year-olds that don't have that element of swagger about them, which isn't
Yeah,
necessarily a bad thing. But I think sometimes it's a case of sort of being a little bit more sort of discreet, a little bit more humble. But,
that's
I
right.
guess that's one of them things. But great share, great piece of advice. That's fantastic. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
So, you mentioned passion quite a few times then. So what is it that,
Mhm.
what is your passion? What is it that inspires you to do what you do on a daily, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis even, that, really puts that fire in your belly to do what you do?
I believe heavily in what my vision is for the company and what I want it to look like. And what I've discovered and what I've seen from how I've managed the business over the last 2 years, which has been completely different to how I've managed it for the previous four,
Yeah.
is with a strong belief and a strong vision and a strong journey of what you as an individual, what your company wants to achieve. If your team believe enough in that and they can see the small milestones that you're reaching, you don't have to be massive, but like the 1% here and there, they then invest into that story with you. And that in itself is enough fire for the whole team to want to rally round and work hard with you. And seeing them be so inspired by the journey that I've set out to achieve, then in somehow inspires me even more than I already am and drives me forwards. And for me, I've probably got a few chips on my shoulders from when I was younger. For me, it was about wanting to build something from scratch with, I've had help, but no, I've not had hundreds of thousands of pounds given to me or tens of thousands. I've sort of built organically through
Yeah.
hard work. And I think that's what's kept me going, is that I'm so desired to want to achieve. I'm very goal driven. I don't want to settle for sort of like a small company. I want to grow into something massive, but something I'm proud of, something that is massive, but also a very good company. There's companies that can scale too quickly and then fall out of bed. I want to sort of retain those standards and show people that what I've set out is sort of set the precedent of the whole company.
Yeah. No, that's just such a powerful share. Thanks, Christian, because I think that vision, not only from your own perspective as the business owner, having that belief, that vision in what it is that you want to achieve, but being able to share that across the company. And it sounds like you've done a really good job of that. So that's fantastic. It's one of the key principles, if you like, that I would say that business owners can and do struggle with, is having that
Yeah,
vision in the first place. But even once you've got that vision, is being able to convey that and communicate that amongst the rest of the team.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, that's fantastic. So, well, Christian, it's been fantastic. I mean, just to wrap things up, then, I mean, is there any sort of like news, anything that you can share with our viewers, and also you've obviously got an awful lot of information and more importantly, an awful lot of experience and expertise there. So, what's the best
Yeah.
way for people to get in touch with you as well?
So we've got two websites. We've got intentinventories.com, that's inventories IES, and we've got intentsnagging.com, which is obviously more tailored for the new build properties and snagging new builds. We are based in central London, operate in Hertfordshire, Essex, Kent. We go as far as Bristol, Birmingham, dependent on obviously circumstances. But yeah, we've got our websites. We're obviously on social media, which is at intent_group. And yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as well. So if people need to get at me, it's Christian Ciraolo with a C, and they can reach me
Fantastic.
there.
That is absolutely fantastic. Christian, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know more about you and your business.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great. And thanks also for our viewers watching today. That is the Business Spotlight. That's another wrap for this week. Until next time, we'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.